Podcasting from Woodstock, Georgia, welcome to Soul Solutions, a show where we overcome our fears and our limiting beliefs. I'm your host, author, and certified life coach, Terry Kozlowski. Hello, warriors. Do you feel you have to have courage to set personal boundaries? Are you able to tell others no? If you need help, you can take my course, The Guide to Setting Personal Boundaries, on mastermind.com. The link is in the show notes. Take the course as an act towards conquering your fears about boundary setting. Now let's start this week's episode. Episode 97. Yes, it's helpful to have courage to live life by conquering your fears. Do you wish to become your authentic self? Begin by learning how to be courageous. The easiest way to realize your full potential is to live boldly and venture outside your comfort zone. The problem is that you let your fears impede your success. Alternatively, you may avoid changing your life because of anxiety about the unknown. It's time to conquer your fears. Fear is part of the human experience. It's how the egoic mind keeps you safe from the unknown. However, living in a constant worry about the what-ifs can stifle your progress both professionally and personally. So how does fear disguise itself in your life? Does it show up as anxiety about the future? Or are you depressed about the past? Are you angry, which is fear turned inward? Does doubt or fear of deciding plague you? Or is comparing yourself with others how your ego keeps you stagnating? Do you allow shame to keep you silent and perpetuate your fears? Is the fear of failure keeping you from taking any action? Does the fear of loss have you holding on to things and mindsets that no longer serve you? Are you afraid of being rejected by others so you're not willing to make authentic connections? Did you see yourself in any of those descriptions? When you're scared, any movement forward is more difficult because the fear makes you retreat into the safety of your comfort zone. Results of staying scared. When you allow the ego's fears to keep you from living your best life, what results can you expect? Your personal growth stagnates, which means you aren't setting goals. Your self-confidence suffers, and you feel life doesn't have meaning or purpose. See, your growth spurts come from conquering your fears, obstacles, and challenges that you come across along your journey. When you allow fear to become an obstacle in your life, it stifles your personal development. You retreat into your shell rather than improving your mental fitness and maturing. You also avoid new experiences to prevent unpleasant emotions. Because you're fearful, avoiding circumstances that push you out of your comfort zone affects your emotional growth. You're missing out on the opportunity to build strong emotional skills such as resiliency, self-soothing, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. If you don't work on your emotional development, you'll be more vulnerable to stressful situations. If you avoid opportunities for emotional growth regularly, you'll find yourself unable to deal with difficult circumstances in your personal and professional life. Doing what you're most fearful of leads to the most significant personal improvement, is what psychiatrist Carl Jung believed. Fear becomes an issue when it prevents you from living the life you desire. But you can be courageous and conquer your fears. Understanding courage. The terms courageous and bravery are frequently used interchangeably, yet they are not synonymous. Fearlessness is a prerequisite for bravery. Being courageous doesn't imply that you are fearless. It entails taking action despite your fears. It takes time and experience to learn how to be courageous in the face of fear. Consider it like strengthening a muscle. It can be immensely liberating once you've mastered it. Here are 12 ways for you to grow into a more courageous and authentic version of yourself. Number 1, remember where the fear comes from. It comes from within your egoic mind to keep you safe from harm and the unknown. This fear acts as a natural alarm system warning you of impending danger. However, the ego, which is in charge of this system, can also set off false alarms. You react as if these false alarms are real, and you act as if they are life-threatening. You must recognize that you do not face deadly conditions in your daily life, which the ego is attempting to protect you from. Number 2, breathe to conquer your fears. Pause a moment. Stopping and taking 3 deep breaths is a quick and natural technique to ease your fear. You can see your nervousness dissipate by inhaling gently and counting to 5, then expelling to another count of 5. Studies have found that doing this exercise 3 times in a row will dramatically relax the mind and kickstart your autonomic nervous system. Try it. The only thing you have to lose is your fear. Number 3, recognize what the anxiety is trying to show you. Acknowledge your distress and accept what you are feeling. This stops the inner turmoil the angst causes because you aren't struggling against it. It's tough to conquer your fears if you can't be honest with yourself about what you're afraid of. Being courageous, according to research, means first recognizing one's strengths and weaknesses, then deciding to work through them. Sometimes just speaking about the concern is enough to dissipate it, or sharing the worry with a trusted tribe member will help you feel you aren't alone. Number 4, face your fears to conquer them. Understanding the underlying reason for your fear is the first step towards confronting it. So determine what about the situation is disconcerting. Then look for the opportunity to overcome the circumstances. Exposure is by far the most effective treatment for phobias, anxiety disorders, and everyday worries of any kind. For example, if you are afraid of speaking in front of a group, then practicing giving talks in front of your tribe will help you gain the confidence you need to conquer your fear. Number 5, give yourself a pep talk. It's important how you talk to yourself. The inner voice speaking to you can either encourage you to believe in yourself or tear you down to the point of depression. The egoic voice that admonishes you is the negative self-talk you already recognize, making you feel bad about your life by telling you what should-haves and could-haves you missed out on. Your soulful voice is the upbeat and always sees the bright side. The heart's encouraging voice inspires you to take a chance and pursue your goals. You can't stop talking to yourself, but you can change what you say and what you believe is true. Number 6, discomfort is part of the conquering process. When you're uncomfortable, it's a sign you're starting a growth process. Discomfort is the feeling of the ego trying to keep you stagnant. Any change in your life signifies the end of an old way and the beginning of a new one. You must accept the completion process. Consider the implications of the change. Contemplate the journey you've taken. Because of your new perspective, celebrate who you're becoming. Being alert and conscious of your entire experience allows you to push through the discomfort of the growth process and emerge better than you imagined. You're capable of far more than you realize, and you'll be able to face any future problems. Whether or not you seek it out, personal development will continue. Choose to embrace the process of progress, including the uncomfortable parts. Number 7, make courage a habit. Don't give up once you've conquered your fear for the first time. By overcoming your anxieties regularly, you strengthen your fearlessness muscle. Make a list of things that make you nervous and start doing them on a small scale to build your self-confidence. According to Duke University research, habits, not conscious thought, determine nearly 40% of your behavior. As a result, you have an immense ability to change your life by removing habits that no longer serve you, such as being fearful. Number 8, be mindful. To practice mindfulness in all aspects of your life, you must always be in the present moment. Breath work and meditation are examples of mindfulness techniques that will help you cope with anxieties and worries. Eckhart Tolle, in his book The Power of Now, illustrates that fear is entirely a product of the egoic mind. They are sentiments of dread, anxiety, or concern over a made-up situation in the future. You learn to observe these ideas when you practice mindfulness. You also learn not to let them control you and transform your fear into a nightmare. Number 9, accept failure to conquer your fears. When you embrace your missteps, you look for alternatives to overcoming the situation instead of wallowing in self-pity. This is the way to build your resilience and growth mindset. See, if you're learning when you misstep, then the lesson was vital for your journey, and therefore you're more willing to try alternatives as you move forward. Number 10, be authentic instead of perfect. To conquer your fears, approach everything you do with the mindset of a beginner. Don't expect certain results. You will eliminate the fear of failure if you learn not to judge an outcome as good or bad. Rather than striving for perfection, set a goal to learn and improve. Remember that your progress in a new direction is important, not necessarily the final product. Number 11, vulnerability helps conquer your fears. You live a fear-based life because you believe you are unworthy. You avoid the one thing that can make you more courageous, being vulnerable, because you are terrified of letting people know who you really are and potentially exposing yourself. So, what armor have you put on to protect yourself? Procrastination, rationalization, cynicism, control, numbing, perfectionism, or people-pleasing. Whatever the self-defense mechanism you are using, you need to put down the shields so you can make authentic connections with others and conquer your fears. Number 12, take bold action. Learning to be courageous does not imply that you are not afraid. It entails taking action in the face of apprehension. Your life is in your control, and you either spend it living afraid or conquering your fears. When you face one of these anxieties, whether it's a choice, a prospect, or something else, remember, it's all in your head. You have control over whether you believe the egoic voice or are encouraged by the soulful whispers of your heart. But choosing to be courageous is entirely up to you. So are you going to take bold action and overcome your fears? Courageously moving forward. Learn to see anxiety as an opportunity rather than a stumbling block, a chance for personal, professional, and emotional development. Fear can lead you to grow in the areas of your life that require the most attention. Small yet significant steps towards developing self-confidence and becoming a fearless person occur by practicing positive self-talk and putting yourself in challenging situations. To live your best life, you must have courage to do so. Those of you who commit to discovering, appreciating, and embodying excellence must take risks to change. You must do things that most people do not consider or care about. Conquering your fears is all about just doing that. It's magical to find your inner strength and overcome. My favorite quote about overcoming fear comes from Frank Herbert's book, Dune. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I remain. It addresses how one conquers their fears: self-talk, acknowledgement, confrontation, acceptance, vulnerability, mindfulness, and authenticity. As you become more conscious of the fears you have, you can alter the course of your life by conquering them. Do you need help to make courage a habit? Or are you looking for support to take bold action steps? Do you want a strategy to help you create an extraordinary life? If so, please get in touch with me and we can put together an action plan for you to conquer your fears and live authentically. If you want to learn about how I recognize the armor I was wearing to mask my fears, you can do so by reading my book, Raven Transcending Fear, available on Amazon. Or you can go to raventranscendingfear.com for more information. Thanks for listening to Soul Solutions with Terry Kozlowski. If you'd like the show and want to learn more, check out terrykozlowski.com, where you can find the links to everything we talked about in this episode. Please subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode as we overcome our fears and our limiting beliefs.